You're listening to Drawing Success, Art, Education, and Entrepreneurship with Bette Fetter, founder and CEO of Young Rembrandts. In each episode, Bette explores the inspiring stories of franchise owners who've built successful businesses while making a difference through art education. And now, here's your host, Bette Fetter.
Hi, we have Richard and Claudia Gonzales out in California. So tell me, where's your territory? You're right outside.
Our territory in Southern California, we're based in the city of Covina. Our actual territory is called the East San Gabriel Valley. So we're about 25 miles from downtown Los Angeles, about 20 miles from Pasadena, California.
So you have a pretty big territory. And how long have you been doing Young Rembrandts?
We're celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. So we're very happy. Yes. We just we kick off our fall semester yesterday, actually Tuesday. And we're reminiscing about that. Oh my goodness, this is our 20th September.
Wow. Oh, I'm so honored. That's a really big deal that you'll be doing this. It's amazing.
It is.
So tell us, so right now, when you kicked off your classes, just to give us an idea of the size of your business, how many classes do you run every week? And then how many teachers, what kind of staff do you have?
So we have about 40 schools plus the parks and recs. So it averages out to about 55, 60 locations. However, a lot of these locations have two groups running simultaneously. So the actual classes running is a lot higher, obviously, than that. Yes. And in terms of the staff, we have 29 instructors. A lot of them have more than one assignment, obviously, to be able to cover all this.
Yes.
We have individuals that have 2-3 locations per week.
And we still need more.
Absolutely. I feel like that's been the big cry for the last few years. More teacher. Kids want classes. We need more teachers.
Yes.
So what was life 20 years ago? Well, how did you get to Young Rembrandts? What did you do before Young Rembrandts?
Well, I was in the corporate world, and I was a material/production planner for several food, beverage, and pharmaceutical organizations. They were very, very big companies. And I was a planner, and I kind of liked planning because for me personally, I like order, I like consistency, I like laying out a plan, and I like seeing it come to fruition. In many ways, kind of what I do here at Young Rembrandts. And so I was working there for 5 different companies in 15 years. Unfortunately, I became the poster child of the 90s downsizing wave. So I worked for 5 companies, 15 years, got laid off at every single one of them.
Wow.
And so over the course of time, I became to feel a little undervalued and underappreciated. And so that's when I started looking for something that I might be able to control my work destiny a little bit. And that's where Young Rembrandts came in.
For myself, I was in human resources. I held a variety of positions in human resources in the banking industry. And I actually liked it because it entailed helping people, whether I was hiring them, the opportunity to give them a job. They were so grateful for that. I became their best friend. It was so nice to walk into the office and they were like, "Hi, Claudia." And so, whether I was with employee benefits or employee development, I was always doing something to try and help them. And that was rewarding. And that's what I did before Young Rembrandts. The part I disliked were probably the long commutes. We had a lot of offices throughout Southern California that I had to drive to. So that and the long hours were the things I disliked. And that was my pre-Young Rembrandts life.
Okay, so then how did you go about finding Young Rembrandts?
Yeah, the very last organization that let me go was nice enough to send me to an outplacement organization. So these are the people that help you write your resume.
Yeah.
At the time, use the internet to help you look for jobs. So we had an orientation there, and it was going a little long. And so I decided to get up and get a refreshment from the kitchen they had. And as I walked by, I saw a poster that was promoting a workshop for a franchise broker, somebody that would help place you into a franchise. And I was struck with the words on it. It said, "You're in business for yourself, but never by yourself." And so that intrigued me. And so the very next day, I attended that workshop. And so the individual there helped us determine what our likes were, what our dislikes, what we were good at, what we weren't too good at. And in the end, gave us some recommendations on franchises that they thought would be a good fit for us. And Young Rembrandts, after some due diligence, was definitely the one that appealed to us and attracted us to it. And 20 years later, there's no regret. There's only appreciation. Yeah.
Well, and now, Richard, you joined Young Rembrandts. You bought a franchise and you started, and you didn't come right away, Claudia. You kept your corporate job.
Mhm.
And how many years did you keep your corporate job until you joined and you're doing it as a family?
It wasn't long. I stayed on for 2.5 years after. So at that point, by 2.5 years into Young Rembrandts, Richard was doing really well in developing new partnerships and becoming very busy with the tasks that I was doing in corporate America. So it made sense for me to shift and put my energy, my effort into Young Rembrandts, our business versus, somebody else.
Somebody
And that's
else's.
how I then decided to join him.
Yeah. The help was
Okay.
the help was greatly appreciated because she came in with this HR background in recruiting and training, and these were things that I wasn't very good at. And so it was a natural fit for her to come in and kind of take over that whole recruitment to training to scheduling to development part of the business for our teachers.
So tell us what your day-to-day looks like in terms of what roles you each play. So you're hiring and training staff and watching over staff, which is your part-time teachers, correct, Claudia? And
Yes.
then where's your focus, Richard?
Well, I think my focus is on all the other places that she's not at. And one of the things about Rembrandts and being an entrepreneur is that you wear a lot of hats. So one day you're an accountant, the next day you're a marketing person, next day you're a salesperson, you're an IS person, et cetera, et cetera. So you really need to learn to manage from a top level, manage the quality, manage the brand, manage the staffing, making sure that they're trained, that we have enough people. Day to day, I mean, we do a lot of pre-planning. We're always planning for the next session. And so, we have our peak periods, which are consistent with the school semesters. So, come September, January, right after spring break, we get really busy. We get a lot of enrollments, we get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and so we need to tend to that. But on a day-to-day basis, we're just making sure that our classes are running and that we're trying to plan for the next session.
I was going to add that it really depends on what our priority or our goal is, whether it's for that week, or for that month, for that semester. We kind of take a look at that big picture, and then once we determine what that goal is, then we divide the tasks related to that and work accordingly.
Yep.
So along with the two of you, do you have other staff or have you got it pretty much covered between the two of you?
Yes, actually, we are very grateful very fortunate, I should say, that we have long-term staff. And among them, we have two specifically that have been with us for 15 years. So,
Wow, that's a lot to be
yes,
proud
and
of.
they have worked just about at every single, in terms of categories of curriculum. They've taught preschoolers, they've taught, first graders, first through sixth, they've taught mornings in school programs, they've taught after school, they've taught at community centers. So they really are very well rounded. They know the business inside out, to that extent. And so recently, over the last couple of years, I really partner with them and really turn to them to help me with that training and onboarding of staff. And so we have new staff. I'll have the new staff work with them, help them in the classroom as part of the acclimation process, part of their onboarding. So they're actually hands-on training after they've done orientation, after they've done the videos, after they've done that. And they're actually in class working with a senior person. And then when we feel that the person is ready to go solo, then they'll be assigned to a location. And then these two senior people, which Angela and Gladys, they'll go and visit them and observe them, provide feedback as necessary, and really kind of mentor them throughout that first year. And that has been very helpful to me because not only are they helping me with the new staff, they're also helping with existing staff and doing at least one visit per semester to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Well, and I love it. You're speaking to like at Young Rembrandts, and I think the franchise, we do develop the curriculum and we give franchisees the curriculum and how to train the teacher. But franchisees, you've really made this commitment. It's not a matter of just hire some people and hand them the lesson. You're investing so much in your teaching staff and building up their skill and making sure they have what they need, all because it's going to so affect the children.
Yeah.
So I do think your 20-year reputation in your in your territory is definitely reflecting the quality and the amount you invest in your staff in order for them to invest in your children.
And we actually have the next generation working, that infant, that baby that was born right about the time we started in 2004.
Oh my gosh.
Is a college age student. And so now he has become more involved in the business, clerical stuff, data inputting. One of the things he's helped us out a lot, surprise, he's good at technology. So a lot of the Instagram and Facebook postings have been a natural fit for him.
And this is your son.
This is our son, Matthew.
Yeah, I love it. You see, we grow our own assistants in Young Rembrandts, give birth a family of great workers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that really frees us up as well with a lot of the little tasks, where, as Richard mentioned, even checking the quality of markers, because we always do quality control over the summer ourselves. And then the rest of the year, the staff will do their own quality control as the year progresses, but we do it over the summer. And so he's so helpful, and he actually takes one marker, one at a time, and checks, make sure that there's still enough ink in them.
Patience and dedication, huh?
Very diligent. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. So, at a franchise, your franchisor is supposed to provide you, for anybody shopping for a franchise, the franchisor should be providing you all the tools you need, basic business in a box, to go run the business. Right. Now, 20 years ago, it's been very different what we gave you then compared to now. But
yes,
do you want to speak to the evolution? You've seen a lot in 20 years.
Absolutely. I mean, I look at a lot of what was done and presented to us initially was manually. We didn't really have a system for keeping our enrollments in. We didn't have online enrollment. I mean, that is hard to believe. A lot of what we did was manual on paper. A lot of the brochures, marketing brochures, all of them were kind of stuff that was created by us, not necessarily very
Not
glossy.
as polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as polished. So I look at the evolution system-wise, how we've moved from this manual system to just an amazing online system that's so user-friendly to our parents. I look at the marketing material, whereas we might have had a black and white uh, poster. Now we've got these beautiful posters and brochures and all the rest of these nice marketing materials. So it's definitely been an evolution on the positive side, where we've seen, you know, so many good things come through the course of time. And yeah.
I was just going to add, as you were speaking, I was thinking back that even though it's evolved so much to such a great extent, even in the beginning, I think it was, to me, very impressive, I think to both of us, in the fact that we could tell that our home office was so dedicated and was so 100% in. And I think if we had not felt that, we wouldn't have joined Young Rembrandts. But we knew even back then, even though we were just in the infancy stages, it felt we could feel the support, and we knew that regardless of what issue we may encounter, we were going to have someone there that was going to help us through it. And that was, I think, a game changer for us.
Yeah. And she brings up a good point. I remember when we were doing our due diligence and doing our research and talking to existing franchise people, one of the things that we still needed to do was go do our discovery day.
Yeah.
And we were blown away at how wonderful everybody in the home office was. I mean, this is somebody who dealt with corporate people, and
Oh,
there
that's
was
true.
certainly a
Oh.
lack of trust and what's their agenda. And then we go over there and we find people who are real people, who are not robots, who are not corporateites, who are really, really committed to their franchisee, their partners, and their mission. They're not there to sell a bunch of franchises, or they're truly there to bring art education to the communities. And so we were like, we're there. We're with them.
And it has been a lovely partnership all
Yes,
these
it
years. So, speaking to that, you are very well known in your community. And I know when schools have some grant money, or when schools need somebody to do a festival or a fair, you are on speed dial. So tell us the kinds of things you do in your community.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because we actually, yes, you are right. We are very much, or at least we try very much to be involved and stay on top of what's going on with the districts. And one of the things that has been very helpful is that each city will have what they call the State of the City luncheon, and it usually takes place right around springtime. And so all of the local cities will have that, and that's something that has been
So you
very
go to
useful
each
for us.
one.
Uh-huh. And it's really useful because you have all the district representatives there that day. You have superintendents and directors of curriculum, and even the back office people, maintenance and operations. But they each present a little snippet of what's happening, and also kind of like a preview what's coming up next year. And this is a good way for us to kind of stay in the know. Are they closing down schools? Are they opening schools? Are they shifting principals? Blah, blah, blah. So that's been very helpful. But also, to your point, we do a lot of scholarships with the schools. All the schools are eligible to receive scholarships from us continually. All they need to do is let us know. And the second part is that we also do a lot of the open houses and the back to school.
Yeah, I've seen you with your tablecloths and your how to draw sheets.
Yes, and then we actually have some of the parishes and even local elementary schools will ask us for like auction prices, like they'll have a silent auction, and we'll put together a package for them, like a scholarship basically, and for the value of, whether it's 1 semester or 2 semesters. So that's something that really keeps us connected.
Yeah. And one of the things that we talk about the evolution of the business. We have had to learn as older franchisees to be more involved with Instagram, Facebook, and basically a lot of the online platforms.
Yeah.
So we've gotten some help from our son there, but we realize it's a new day, it's a new age that people get information, a lot of it through this way, and so we've really, especially the last year or so, have really tried to emphasize our presence online, posting pictures, promoting programs, promoting events that are going on. We're doing a lot right now since we're celebrating our 20th year. We're posting, we made a couple of really cute and wonderful videos set to music of a lot of the students' artwork throughout the years. We've got events that we've gone to. We still have a couple of events, including the draw with the principal, and perhaps maybe even participation in our local Christmas parade, where we'll walk around with the big pencil and wave and show some
how fun.
artwork. And so, yeah, some of our teachers are looking. We're just trying to see if we can make that work logistically. So
I'm picturing Richard in a Santa suit tossing out candy canes. I don't know, pencil candy canes.
They actually don't let you dress like Santa Claus because there's only one person allowed.
That's true. Be a little competitive.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the Grinch.
I don't know. You got to be Father Arch. Like, we're gonna have to come up with a new superhero.
I like that. Instead of Father Christmas, Father Art. I like that. So I'll have to start growing the beard now.
Well, I know that. Give me the last few minutes. I think you love your teachers. Tell me your favorite part of the business. I know you love the kids. You love the teachers. Tell me your favorite part of the business as we're wrapping up. Why would anybody want to do this?
For me personally, I would say the flexibility and the work-life balance that it offers. It's been invaluable personally because of the fact, back then it was invaluable because I was a new mom. So being able to work from home and being able to set my own schedule was very important. I was able to say, I'm only going to focus in the evenings, or I'm only going to work in the mornings, or I'm only going to work a couple hours in the afternoon, depending on the stage Matthew was in. Now I have elderly parents. Both my parents are still with me, thank goodness, but they're almost 80 years old. And so there's always some kind of a doctor's appointment to have to go to. My mom has Alzheimer's. So I spent 2-3 days a week with her, giving my dad some respite. And that takes a lot of time. So if I were not with Young Rembrandts, if I did not have the ability to dictate my own schedule, that would have been impossible for me in corporate America. So that is something that I really value and enjoy, the flexibility to set my own schedule. And just knowing that what we're doing is something that is valuable, and it adds meaning to our lives, and we're making a contribution in the community.
Yeah, it definitely adds value to the community. For me, it still is we talk about things that evolved and have changed. One thing that hasn't changed, and going into that classroom, whether it was day one back in 2004 or just yesterday when I was in a class, watching these kids run in with excitement and joy and happiness. What are we going to do? What are we going to draw? And so, just seeing that excitement, and we've seen firsthand that the value of art has had on them. And we see the curiosity, the commitment, the pride that they have. And that feeling never goes away. And you can have a bummer of a day. You could be working on payroll or state reports or whatever, but you go to that classroom and you see the excitement, and you see when they flip over and they see that drawing that they're going to do, and that,
I love that sound.
You cannot quantify it. It's a beautiful feeling.
Well, I'm overclamped. Thank you.
You're very welcome. We appreciate the time.
Well, Richard and Claudia, thank you for everything you do to empower your teachers and your presence in your community. And you've been you're such big mentors in our system, because with your experience, you're always really sharing and giving to other franchisees and to us at home office. So you are greatly appreciated, and thank you.
Thank you, Bette.
Thank you for all your
Thank you.
support, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Drawing Success. If you're inspired by today's episode and want to learn more about owning your own Young Rembrandts franchise, visit us at www.yrfranchise.com. And until next time, keep drawing success.